In a bustling city on Earth, a young boy named Alex lived with his family. He was curious and loved exploring. One day, his school organized a field trip to a museum that housed amazing artifacts from different planets. Alex was excited, especially because he had heard whispers about a mysterious artifact that many believed held great power. When Alex and his classmates arrived at the museum, they were greeted by tall walls filled with strange paintings and shining displays. The air buzzed with excitement as the students rushed to see everything, but Alex had only one thing on his mind: the ancient artifact. "Come on, everyone! Let's find it!" Alex urged his friends, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. They weaved through the crowds, passing alien sculptures and glowing stones. Finally, they reached a large room at the back of the museum. In the center of the room stood a glass case. Inside, the artifact shimmered with an otherworldly glow. It was a small, round object made of smooth, dark stone, with strange symbols carved all over it. Alex's heart raced. He felt a strong pull towards it, as if the artifact was calling to him. "Wow, look at that!" one of his friends exclaimed. "What do you think it is?" "I don't know, but it looks amazing," Alex replied, stepping closer to the glass. He could almost feel the energy radiating from it. Suddenly, the museum curator entered the room, a tall alien with blue skin and bright yellow eyes. "Welcome, young explorers," the curator said with a warm smile. "This artifact is known as the Orb of Secrets. It is said to hold the knowledge of an ancient civilization. Many have tried to unlock its mysteries, but none have succeeded." Alex's eyes widened. "Can I touch it?" he asked eagerly. The curator shook his head gently. "Only under special circumstances. We must protect it," the curator replied. Alex felt disappointed but respected the curator's wishes. As the tour continued, Alex could not stop thinking about the Orb of Secrets. He quietly observed it, studying the symbols and trying to understand its meaning. He imagined what it would be like to unlock its secrets, to know things that no one else did. After the tour ended, Alex lingered near the artifact. He felt a strange warmth as he reached out to touch the glass case. In that moment, he heard a soft whisper in his mind, urging him to come closer. Without thinking, he pressed his palm against the glass. Suddenly, the orb began to glow brighter, and the symbols started to swirl and dance. Alex gasped, stepping back in surprise. The energy pulsing from the artifact felt alive. The curator rushed back into the room, his eyes wide with shock. "What did you do?" he exclaimed, staring at the glowing orb. Alex stammered, "I just touched it. I didn't mean to." But it was too late. The symbols on the orb shifted, forming new patterns. They seemed to tell a story, one that had been hidden for centuries. Alex felt a thrill run through him. He had awakened something powerful. News of the artifact's activation spread quickly through the museum. The curator hurried to contact the Galactic Senate, a powerful assembly of alien races that governed the galaxy. They needed to know about this human child who had triggered the ancient power. As Alex stood there, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had just begun a great adventure. Little did he know, the Senate would soon hear of his discovery, and the galaxy would be forever changed. Back at school, Alex's friends were buzzing with excitement. "You have to tell everyone what happened," one friend urged. But Alex was lost in thought, staring at the glowing orb. What did it mean? Why did it choose him? With his heart pounding and a sense of destiny, Alex realized that his life was about to take a turn he never expected. The Orb of Secrets had awakened something inside him, and he was determined to uncover its mysteries, no matter what it took. As he left the museum, Alex glanced back at the artifact one last time, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. He had no idea what challenges lay ahead, but he knew one thing for sure: he was ready to face them. After the mysterious activation of the Orb of Secrets, Alex found himself in a whirlwind of excitement and uncertainty. The Galactic Senate had received word about the artifact, and they wanted to see the human child who had awakened its powers. For Alex, this was a dream come true. He would travel to a place filled with aliens, powerful leaders, and maybe even more secrets. The day arrived when Alex was to embark on his journey. He was nervous but also thrilled. His parents hugged him tightly, telling him to be brave and smart. "Remember, Alex, you are special. Show them what you can do," his mother said, her voice filled with pride. Alex took a deep breath and headed to the spaceship that would take him to the Galactic Senate. The ship was sleek and shiny, unlike anything he had ever seen. The moment he stepped inside, his eyes widened with wonder. The walls were adorned with glowing symbols, and the control panels were buzzing with lights. As the ship lifted off, Alex gazed out the window at Earth, growing smaller and smaller. He felt a mix of excitement and fear. What if the aliens didn't like him? What if they thought he was just a silly human child? But deep down he knew he had a unique gift. The journey was filled with sights Alex had only dreamed of. They flew past colorful planets, sparkling stars, and swirling nebulae. Alex pressed his face against the window, mesmerized by the beauty of space. He imagined all the different creatures living on those planets. After a long journey, the ship finally approached the Galactic Senate, a massive structure that floated majestically in space. It was shaped like a giant crystal, with shining towers and glowing lights. As they landed, Alex felt his heart race. This was it, the moment he had been waiting for. Once he stepped off the ship, Alex was greeted by an alien named Zara, a tall creature with green skin and big, friendly eyes. "Welcome, Alex. I am here to guide you," Zara said with a warm smile. Alex felt a sense of comfort wash over him. He knew he would need a friend in this unfamiliar place. As they walked through the halls of the Senate, Alex noticed various alien species. Some were small and furry, while others were tall and majestic. They all looked at him with curiosity. Alex felt like he was in a dream, surrounded by creatures from stories he had read. Zara led him to the main chamber where the senators gathered. The room was enormous, filled with seats that surrounded a circular table. The walls were adorned with tapestries telling stories of great battles and alliances. As Alex entered, the room grew silent. All eyes were on him. A powerful-looking alien with silver skin and sharp features stood up. "So, this is the human child?" he said, his voice deep and commanding. "What makes you think you can unlock the secrets of the orb?" Alex felt a wave of fear wash over him. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. Zara stepped forward, sensing his anxiety. "Alex has a special connection to the artifact," she explained. "He is the one who activated it." The senators exchanged skeptical glances. "A child? How can we trust him?" Another senator chimed in, her voice sharp. Alex's heart sank. He didn't want to let anyone down. But Zara placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Give him a chance. Sometimes the smallest beings hold the greatest secrets." With newfound courage, Alex took a deep breath. "I want to help," he said, his voice shaking but determined. "The orb showed me something. I believe it holds the key to a lost civilization. I just need your support to understand it better." The senators leaned in, intrigued. For the first time, they began to see Alex not just as a human child, but as someone who might have the answers they sought. The tension in the room began to lift as the senators whispered among themselves. "Let us give him a chance," the silver-skinned senator said, finally nodding. "We will allow Alex to work with us to unlock the orb's secrets." Alex felt a rush of relief. He had made it through the first hurdle. With Zara by his side, he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Little did he know, this was just the beginning of a grand adventure that would change the galaxy forever. As they began to discuss the next steps, Alex looked around the room, realizing that he was no longer just a curious child from Earth. He was now part of something much bigger, an ancient mystery that needed solving, and he was determined to find the answers. The next morning, Alex woke up feeling excited but nervous. Today was the day he would start working with the Galactic Senate to unlock the secrets of the Orb of Secrets. As he got ready, he couldn't shake the feeling that something big was about to happen. He wanted to prove himself, not just to the senators, but to himself as well. After a quick breakfast, Zara met him outside his room. "Are you ready?" she asked with a smile. "Today we will begin to explore the orb's mysteries." "Yes! I can't wait!" Alex replied, feeling a spark of determination. They walked through the grand halls of the Senate, and Alex felt the eyes of many aliens on him. Some looked curious, while others seemed skeptical. When they reached the chamber where the orb was kept, Alex noticed that a large table had been set up with screens and tools. The orb was placed in the center, still glowing softly. Alex approached it, feeling a rush of energy. "We have gathered some of the best minds in the galaxy to help you," Zara explained. "They are eager to see what you can do." The senators began to gather around the table. There were scientists with tentacles, scholars with 3 eyes, and engineers with strange gadgets. Alex felt a mix of excitement and pressure. He had to impress them. "Let's begin," said the silver-skinned senator, his voice commanding. "Alex, please touch the orb and tell us what you feel." With his heart pounding, Alex reached out and placed his hand on the cool surface of the orb. Immediately, he felt the familiar warmth spread through him. The symbols on the orb began to glow brighter, and a vision appeared in his mind. He saw a vast city made of shimmering crystals, surrounded by tall mountains and bright rivers. In the center of the city stood a grand temple, filled with ancient knowledge. The people there were vibrant and alive, but something was wrong. Dark clouds loomed overhead, and shadows seemed to swallow the city. Alex gasped and pulled his hand back. "I saw a city. It was beautiful, but something bad is coming. The city was in danger." The senators exchanged worried glances. "This is significant," one of the scholars said. "The orb is showing you the past, a warning of what happened to this civilization." "Can we save them?" Alex asked, his voice filled with hope. "We must first understand what happened," Zara replied. "We need to decode the symbols to see how the city fell into darkness." The group began to work together. Alex felt a surge of energy as he focused on the symbols. They began to form patterns in his mind, revealing connections he had not noticed before. He quickly grabbed a piece of paper and began to sketch out the symbols as they flowed in front of him. As the hours passed, the senators were amazed by Alex's talent. He pointed out connections between the symbols, explaining how they seemed to tell a story. With each revelation, the atmosphere grew charged with excitement. Suddenly, an engineer leaned in and exclaimed, "Look! These symbols match the ones found in ancient texts about the city. It talks about a great disaster caused by greed and betrayal." Alex's eyes widened. "So they fought each other? That's why the clouds came?" "Yes," the engineer replied. "If we can learn from their mistakes, we might prevent something similar from happening again." As they continued to piece together the story, Alex realized that the orb was not just a relic, but a message from the past. It held the wisdom of a civilization that had fallen, and it was up to them to heed that warning. "Let's find a way to protect ourselves from this darkness," Zara said, her eyes shining with determination. "We must unite our knowledge and our strengths." With renewed purpose, Alex and the senators worked tirelessly, decoding more symbols and discussing strategies. They agreed that they would share the story of the ancient city with all the races in the galaxy. They could not let history repeat itself. As the sun set outside the Senate building, casting a golden glow on everything, Alex felt a sense of accomplishment. He had not only solved part of the puzzle, but had also sparked a movement among the senators. They were no longer just individuals from different worlds, they were a team united for a common purpose. That night, as Alex lay in bed, he smiled, knowing he had made a difference. The orb had chosen him for a reason, and he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together with the Galactic Senate, he would help protect the galaxy from the darkness of the past and create a brighter future. The following day brought an air of excitement to the Galactic Senate. Alex could feel the energy buzzing around him as senators and scholars discussed their next steps to share the ancient story of the city with the galaxy. He had never felt so important, and the responsibility weighed heavily on his young shoulders. As he walked through the hallways, Alex noticed a small group of senators gathered in a corner, whispering urgently. Their faces looked worried, and that made his heart race. He approached Zara, who was nearby. "What's going on?" he asked, trying to sound brave. Zara frowned, her green skin slightly paler than usual. "There are rumors of unrest among some alien factions. They do not believe in the warnings of the orb and want to seize it for their own purposes." "Why would they want to take it?" Alex asked, confused. "The orb is meant to help us." "Some believe it holds power beyond our understanding," Zara explained. "They think that controlling the orb could give them the strength to dominate others. We must be careful." As they walked toward the main chamber, a loud alarm suddenly echoed through the Senate building. The bright lights flickered, and the air filled with tension. Alex felt his heart pound in his chest. "What's happening?" he asked, looking around nervously. Zara's eyes narrowed. "We are under attack! Stay close to me!" She took his hand, leading him through the chaos. Alex could hear distant shouts and the sounds of ships landing outside. Fear surged through him, but he pushed it aside, knowing he had to be brave. When they reached the main chamber, the senators were already gathering for an emergency meeting. The silver-skinned senator stood at the front, his expression serious. "We are under siege by a group known as the Shadow Syndicate. They want the orb for themselves, believing it will grant them unimaginable power. Alex's mind raced. The Shadow Syndicate? He had heard whispers about them, dangerous and ruthless beings who cared only for their gain. The room buzzed with worry as the senators debated what to do. "We must protect the orb at all costs," a scholar shouted, slamming his fist on the table. "It is our only hope." "But how?" another senator replied, fear creeping into her voice. "They have ships and weapons. We are not prepared for a fight." Zara turned to Alex, her eyes fierce. "You have a special connection to the orb. If we can get to it, perhaps you can use its power to help us." Alex felt a surge of determination. He nodded, knowing he couldn't let fear hold him back. "I'll do it. I can unlock its secrets again. Then let's move," the silver-skinned senator commanded. "We must reach the orb before the syndicate does." With that, the senators rushed toward the chamber where the orb was kept. Alex's heart raced as they ran. The hallways were filled with the sounds of explosions and chaos. It felt like a scene from one of the adventure stories he loved. When they reached the chamber, Alex gasped. The orb was still glowing, but shadows danced around it, moving as if alive. The door was locked, and Alex could hear the pounding of feet outside. "We need to hurry," he shouted. Zara quickly moved to the control panel. "I can override the door, but it will take a moment." Just then, the door burst open and members of the Shadow Syndicate flooded in. They were tall, dark creatures with glowing red eyes, wielding weapons that shimmered ominously. Alex felt fear wash over him, but he remembered why he was here. He was not just a child, he had a role to play. "Stop them!" the silver-skinned senator shouted as the room erupted in chaos. Senators scrambled for cover, and Alex stood frozen, staring at the orb. "Alex!" Zara called out, her voice sharp. "Now is your time! Touch the orb! You can do this!" Taking a deep breath, Alex stepped forward, ignoring the danger surrounding him. He reached out, placing his hand on the cool surface of the orb. Instantly, a wave of energy surged through him, stronger than before. He felt the symbols spinning in his mind, and suddenly he could see the past and future colliding. The visions flashed before him, powerful beings battling, a galaxy torn apart, but then something else, unity. He saw different alien races coming together, using their strengths to fight against darkness. "Together, we can defeat them!" he shouted, feeling a surge of power. "We need to unite!" As the shadows closed in, Alex felt the orb pulse with energy. He focused on the vision, channeling the hope of the galaxy into the orb. Bright light erupted from it, flooding the room and pushing back the attackers. The syndicate members stumbled, momentarily blinded by the light. The senators, rallying behind Alex, fought back, pushing forward with newfound courage. "Now! Together!" Zara yelled, and the senators united their strength, combining their powers with the light of the orb. In that moment, Alex realized that they were not just fighting for a relic, they were fighting for their future. Together, they could overcome anything. As the blinding light from the orb enveloped the chamber, the senators felt a surge of hope and determination. The shadows of the Shadow Syndicate wavered, and Alex could see fear in their glowing red eyes. United by the power of the orb, the Galactic Senate stood firm, ready to protect their future. With a final surge of energy, the light exploded outward, pushing back the attackers. The syndicate members staggered and fell, momentarily blinded. Alex could see their confusion and anger as they scrambled to regain control. But the senators were no longer just defenders. They had become warriors united by a common goal. "Now, attack!" the silver-skinned senator shouted. With renewed strength, the senators charged forward, using their unique abilities to fight against the syndicate. Zara moved gracefully, her agility allowing her to dodge attacks and strike back with precision. The others fought fiercely, their diverse skills blending together in a beautiful display of teamwork. Amidst the chaos, Alex focused on the orb, feeling its energy flowing through him. He closed his eyes and connected with the light, drawing strength from the visions he had seen earlier. In that moment, he understood the true power of unity. The orb was not just a relic, it was a symbol of hope for all beings in the galaxy. As the battle raged on, the senators began to gain the upper hand. Alex felt a sense of confidence swell within him. "We can do this! We can defeat them together!" he shouted, encouraging his allies. One by one, the members of the Shadow Syndicate began to falter. They had underestimated the resolve of the Galactic Senate and the power of a united front. The senators worked together, combining their strengths to push the attackers back toward the door. With a final rallying cry, Alex stepped forward, ready to confront the leader of the syndicate. "You think you can take the orb? You are wrong! It belongs to all of us, and together we will protect it." The leader, a tall figure cloaked in shadows, sneered at Alex. "You are just a child. You do not understand the power you play with." Alex stood tall, feeling the energy of the orb within him. "I may be young, but I understand that power should be shared, not hoarded. The orb shows us the past, and we will not repeat its mistakes." The leader hesitated, a flicker of doubt crossing his face. In that moment of uncertainty, the senators seized the opportunity. They charged forward, overwhelming the syndicate with their combined might. The orb glowed brighter, filling the chamber with a warm light that pushed back the darkness. With a final roar, the leader of the Shadow Syndicate fell back, retreating into the shadows. The remaining members of the syndicate quickly followed, fleeing the chamber in defeat. The Galactic Senate had won, thanks to Alex and the power of unity. As the dust settled, the senators began to cheer, their voices ringing through the chamber. Alex felt a sense of pride and relief wash over him. He had faced danger and emerged victorious, but he knew the real victory was the bond formed among the senators. Zara smiled at him, her eyes sparkling. "You did it, Alex! You helped save us all!" "Together we did it," he replied, feeling a warmth in his heart. "We all played a part!" The silver-skinned senator stepped forward, addressing the crowd. "Today we have learned a valuable lesson. The orb is a reminder of our shared history and our responsibility to protect the future. We must work together, not just to defend ourselves, but to support each other." The senators nodded, understanding the importance of unity. They had witnessed the darkness that could arise from greed and betrayal, and they were determined to forge a new path. As the sun set outside the Senate building, casting a golden glow over the galaxy, Alex looked at the orb. It now pulsed softly, a beacon of hope for all. He knew that this was just the beginning. The battle was won, but the journey ahead would be filled with challenges and adventures. With the support of the Galactic Senate, Alex felt ready to face whatever came next. He had found his place in the galaxy, and he was no longer just a child. He was a part of something greater, a guardian of hope and unity. As they celebrated their victory, Alex made a promise to himself. He would continue to learn, to grow, and to stand up for what was right. Together with the Galactic Senate, he would ensure that the light of the orb shone brightly, guiding them toward a better future for all beings in the galaxy. And so, a new beginning dawned for Alex and the Galactic Senate. One filled with hope, friendship, and the promise of adventures yet to come.